I do want to point out that I am not trying to say that these procedures are what should be necessary to maximize your potential for survival, but we must acknowledge the concern and that driving is a privilege. You look up in that rear view and you see those flashing lights and realize the state is about to put you under some intense scrutiny and maybe take your freedom and liberty away. All right, don't panic. First thing, stay calm, cool, and collected.
Float hearts from the haystack. I get free hugs and a plate mask. I don't trust any else love to be more than a.
First, you want to look for a safe place to go ahead and pull over. What would I define as a safe place? An area that's well lit and protects you and the officer from vehicles coming past. This is definitely a big concern with officers, and it should be. Many of them get hit by the cars while they're doing these car stops. So you want to try to find some way to look out for them, and if you're looking out for them, maybe they notice that and that can go away. This pull off up here on the side of the road looks ideal for this time of day. So let's go ahead and pull over here. Continue and follow laws such as don't forget to hit that blinker and indicate that you're pulling over. From my perspective as the officer, I'm starting to observe you in the vehicle, and I'm looking for indicators that you're reaching for something or trying to hide something, or just kind of seeing your general response, and I'm making judgment calls based off of that. I'm calling out to the dispatcher and telling them that where I am and what I'm about to do, that I'm pulling over this white vehicle with heavy tinted windows. I'm going to take a guess at how many people are inside. It looks like there's only one person, but I can't really see. I'm having the dispatcher run the tag for me, or I'm giving that tag information to the dispatcher to keep for the records, and I'm running it on my mobile data terminal. Typically, it doesn't take very long for me to get information back on the registered owners of the vehicle or whoever's registered to the tag. And that will also run the license of the registered owners. So I'll have pictures of the registered owners, and I will have a warrant check run automatically on the owners and if this tag is being registered or reported stolen from somewhere. A lot of other details about the registered owners will be included, but I won't really be able to look at those details until after we've stopped. Often things like protective orders, traffic citations, warrants, any kind of law enforcement related issues, immigration things sometimes, terrorism associations, all kinds of things like that are included with these reports. When you come to a stop, do everything you can to ensure that there's a safe approach for the officer to come to the vehicle. You don't want to butt all the way up to the edge on an area, or something that is like a gravelly or sloped area, something that's wet, a puddle. I mean, make sure you're doing everything you can to make the distractions and discourtesies towards the officer at a very minimum. As an officer, when you come to this stop, what I am looking for is I want to see your reverse lights come on momentarily, and then I want to see your foot come off the brake. It's an automatic. As you cycle up, click, click, that reverse light will come on, and then we go into park. If it's a manual, yes, it's not going to go into reverse, but as you depress the clutch and you come to a stop, pull up the emergency brake and pull off with the regular brake. That way the car is secured and you're letting those brake lights come off. At nighttime, the officer is likely to use a spotlight beam on the car and shine it in your side view or your rear view mirror. This is to provide two things for the officer: to provide a tactical advantage by having you be somewhat blinded, and then to illuminate the interior of the vehicle. Turn off the radio. I can't tell you how many times somebody left the radio on when I'm trying to approach the vehicle, and I'm the first to admit that there was no way for this car stop to go well when that was how it started. Turn on your interior lights even if it's in the middle of the day, especially if it's a heavily tinted vehicle like this one. Roll every window, sunroof. I don't care what it is. If it goes down, put it down. If you followed all of these things, about now, the officer is likely to believe that you are another cop or you're close to one in some way. I would say that the jury is out on whether to put on your flashers or not, your emergency flashers. Personally, the light blinking in my eyes would be annoying and I wouldn't want you to do it. But I suppose that's not everyone's belief. Plan ahead and keep your ID and your registration handy that you don't have to reach for it. Turn off the vehicle, take the ignition, your driver's license, and that registration, and place both hands out the window. If you did not plan this far ahead, do not reach for anything until instructed to do so. Because this whole time that you are going through these things, I am looking for the signs that you are reaching or hiding something. Your shoulder dipping, reaching across into the glove box, putting something into the back seat, things like that. If asked to get out of the vehicle, open the door from the outside like this. So far, you've already hit on two very important bonuses from these actions. First, thinking of the officer and their safety will go a long way in reducing any repercussions. And second, if you do all of this and something goes wrong, your family's lawsuit will go very smoothly. At least where I'm from, an experienced officer will keep that light shined in your eyes and in lighting up the interior of the car, and will approach from the passenger side of the vehicle. I can understand that if you have a very nice and well-kept and beautiful car, you may not like it, but the officer is likely to touch the vehicle in multiple places. The truth behind this isn't to be a dick and put fingerprints on your car. The purpose is that if something goes wrong and we are killed in this moment or assaulted, that our DNA and fingerprints will be on the vehicle. That's the reality for the officer conducting a car stop. The officer will look in the vehicle, and as you can see, by lowering all the windows, you obviously make this job much easier on the officer and further puts the officer at ease. I've had plenty of people be very startled once they hear the officer speak from the passenger side of the vehicle. Let's quickly look at what the officer is going to do when they stop. And if you can help make these things easier on the officer, again, you will go another step further in increasing the likelihood that this car stop ends in a way that's safe for everyone involved. An experienced officer will park the vehicle at an angle. Another stark reality for why the officer is doing this is because doors are not very good at stopping bullets, but engine blocks are. So the officer is placing the engine block of his vehicle between you and himself so that he has a place of cover and concealment in case he is engaged. The officer will then go back around his vehicle and approach from the right side. If you see the officer cross the beam of light, I'm going to say that this officer is inexperienced or lazy. Now let's see what this looks like at night, especially with these heavily tinted windows. Still slide everything into park as normal, and then reach up there, turn that dome light on, and illuminate the interior, making it as easy as you possibly can for the officer to see inside and ease his insecurities over the situation. You can see the difference from the outside as the window goes down. And this does make a big difference. A little harder to see on cameras. Cameras don't work as good as the human eye does. But see how much more I can see in the interior. And all of this being able to see is going to put me much more at ease as the officer that my life is not at risk in this situation. Now, this is America, and a large reason why cops are jumpy is the handgun saturation. So let's go over some things to do if armed. Discourage keeping a weapon on you while in a vehicle, but if you do, ensure to keep it completely concealed. Some places require informing the officer that you are armed. Many of us have already seen that this can backfire, like it did for Philando Castile. So I strongly suggest that you just don't bring any weapons with you in vehicles. If you choose to exercise that Second Amendment right, when in the vehicle, remove all weapons or things that look like weapons and place them somewhere in your vehicle, not where you may keep any documents or things that the officer may ask for. This glove box here, bad idea. On the seat, right here where the officer can see, bad idea. Right here, shoved between the seat, another place where the officer, especially approaching from the passenger side of the vehicle, will see a firearm readily accessible near your right hand. Bad idea. Here's a fine idea. Well, first move your purse and place it firmly underneath the passenger side seat. Another possibility, move your purse, place it on the seat along with a power cord. Then place up your mat and firmly place the weapon securely concealed. That's okay. Great job. Better yet, in one of the pouches where it's concealed and out of reach is another great option. Now this one here, place the trunk, conceal it in the trunk, and secure it. Now that's the best option. And here's a free bit of advice for you. When the cop approaches and he asks you, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" the only answer you should ever have is no. And look, I'm a hood cop. Maybe my perspective is limited. But I think if you follow these instructions, the odds of a car stop going wrong for you or the officer are extremely low. Personally, I don't take the position that this is your responsibility. I hold my peers and fellow officers for it to be our responsibility to have successful and safe car stops, regardless of what you do. But respect being a two-way street is going to have the best results. I am Michael Wood, and this was How to Survive a Car Stop.